Imagine waking up one morning and your phone is a dead brick. No signal bars, no Wi-Fi icon, no data. You can't check the news, you can't message your family, you can't call for help. It's not a technical glitch or a massive solar flare, it's deliberate. Somewhere, a government official has flipped a switch and plunged you, your city, or even your entire country into digital darkness. This isn't the plot of a dystopian movie. It's a regular occurrence for millions of people around the world. Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the global impact of internet shutdowns, one of the most powerful and chilling tools of control in our modern age. So, what exactly is an internet shutdown? It's the intentional disruption of internet or electronic communications ordered by a government to render them unusable for a specific population. And the methods they use range from a sledgehammer to a scalpel. The sledgehammer approach is a total internet blackout. This is where all services across every network are terminated. It can be as crude as physically cutting fiber optic cables or shutting down the power grids that supply communication towers. Everything simply goes dark. More common, however, are partial shutdowns. These can take several forms. A government might order a network shutdown, specifically targeting mobile data services like 3G, 4G, and 5G, while leaving fixed-line broadband intact. In many parts of the world where mobile is the primary way people get online, this is nearly as effective as a total blackout. Then there's platform blocking. This is a more surgical strike, where authorities block access to specific websites or apps, almost always social media and messaging platforms like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and Telegram. They do this by blocking specific IP addresses, or URLs. This isolates people from the very tools they use to organize and communicate. But perhaps the most insidious tactic is throttling. Here, the internet isn't off, but it's slowed to a crawl, often downgraded to archaic 2G speeds. At that speed, you might be able to load a simple text-based email, but downloading an image, let alone watching or uploading a video, is impossible. This effectively strangles the flow of rich media content, which is vital for documenting events like protests or police brutality. Technically, these shutdowns are implemented through things like domain name system, or DNS, manipulation. Think of DNS as the internet's phone book. Manipulation is like rewriting the phone book. So when you try to go to twitter.com, you're sent to a blank page instead. They also use a technique called Deep Packet Inspection, or DPI, which acts like a digital border guard, inspecting the data you send and receive, and blocking anything that matches a forbidden profile. Governments will often justify these blackouts with official-sounding reasons: protecting national security, preventing the spread of misinformation and hate speech, or even stopping students from cheating on national exams. But critics and human rights organizations are clear that the true motive is almost always about control, to crush dissent, silence opposition, and maintain a firm grip on power. Now, you might think a day without social media is an inconvenience, maybe even a healthy break. But the economic cost of these shutdowns is astronomical. Between 2019 and 2021, internet shutdowns in 46 countries resulted in losses of over $20.5 billion. In 2023 alone, the global economy lost an estimated $9.01 billion from 196 major shutdowns. Let's put that into real terms. A report by Deloitte, commissioned by Facebook, found that for a country with high connectivity, a single day of a complete internet shutdown wipes out at least 1.9% of its daily GDP. That's about $23.6 million per 10 million people per day. For a country like the United States, a 24-hour internet blackout could cost a staggering $11 billion. Even in countries with lower connectivity, the damage is severe. An ongoing shutdown in Ethiopia, a low connectivity nation, was estimated to be costing its economy just under $500,000 every single day. Every sector that relies on the digital ecosystem is crippled, E-commerce grinds to a halt. Financial transactions are frozen, paralyzing banking and payment systems. Supply chains, which rely on real-time data, are thrown into disarray. A manager at a tourism agency in Algiers reported that internet disruptions led to a 10% daily loss in revenue, simply because they missed ticket reservation deadlines and couldn't communicate with international clients. And this is just the immediate impact. The long-term consequences are just as dire. Frequent shutdowns erode investor confidence, deterring foreign investment and creating a climate of deep uncertainty. They stifle the very innovation and entrepreneurship that are crucial for growth in the digital age. The reputational damage can be permanent, branding a country as an unstable and unreliable place to do business. It's a massive, self-inflicted economic wound. Beyond the billions of dollars, the social and political fallout is where we see the most profound and disturbing damage. The United Nations has declared internet access a human right, essential for exercising freedom of expression, as enshrined in Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. When a government intentionally cuts that access, it's not only violating international law, it's inflicting a collective punishment on its own citizens. Shutdowns are increasingly a go-to tool for political repression, especially during elections and times of social unrest. By severing communication channels, authorities can stifle dissent, prevent the organization of protests, and completely control the political narrative. In Uganda's 2021 presidential election, the government blocked the internet, making it impossible for citizens, civil society groups, and political parties to share information, organize, or independently verify election results. In Pakistan's 2024 elections, a nationwide mobile internet shutdown on polling day was officially for security reasons, but was widely criticized as a blatant attempt to suppress the opposition and manipulate the vote. The shutdown even caused bizarre logistical problems, as services like Google Maps misinterpreted the lack of data as road blockages, creating chaos for voters trying to find their polling stations. Perhaps the most sinister application of internet shutdowns is their use as a cloak to hide human rights violations and atrocities. Under the cover of a digital blackout, governments can commit abuses with impunity, shielded from the scrutiny of the international community. In Myanmar, following the military coup in February 2021, the junta imposed rolling internet blackouts while it brutally cracked down on peaceful protesters. These shutdowns made it incredibly difficult for human rights defenders to document and report on the violence, which included killings and arbitrary arrests. Similarly, in Iran, during the historic protests that erupted after the death of Mahsa Amini in police custody, extensive shutdowns were used to obscure the brutal response from security forces, making it nearly impossible to verify the true number of casualties and hold perpetrators accountable. On a personal level, the psychological toll is immense. In a time of crisis, being unable to connect with loved ones creates unbearable anxiety and distress. People are left in a state of fear and uncertainty, unable to check on the safety of their friends and family. This isolation cuts people off from vital information and from the world, breeding rumors and fear. This disruption of information bleeds directly into the essential services we depend on for life and learning, healthcare and education. In the modern healthcare sector, internet connectivity is the central nervous system. It's crucial for accessing electronic health records, coordinating emergency services, and facilitating telemedicine consultations. When the internet goes down, hospitals can be thrown into chaos. A recent cyber attack on the Ascension Health Network in the US provides a terrifying glimpse. It resulted in a complete internet shutdown at several hospitals, severely impacting their ability to access patient records and other critical systems. Emergency services are severely hampered. A major telecom outage in Canada left many people unable to reach 911 services on their mobile phones. In a hospital, a communication failure can mean a patient can't reach a nurse within the mandatory time frame, or vital information can't be passed between emergency teams and surgical wards. The rise of telemedicine, which boomed during the COVID-19 pandemic, is also under grave threat. Patients in remote areas who rely on virtual consultations with specialists are left without care. For education, the impact is equally devastating. Online learning platforms and digital resources have become integral to education worldwide. In Afghanistan, after the Taliban's return to power, the internet became the only classroom for women and girls banned from traditional schooling. They relied on online platforms to continue their education. A shutdown of fiber optic networks severed this last precious lifeline. As one educator, Sahra Karimi, lamented, "I am heartbroken. How am I supposed to teach the girls now?" Even temporary shutdowns have a significant impact. In India, which holds the record for the highest number of shutdowns, these disruptions have been shown to negatively affect students' academic performance and mental health. Students preparing for crucial exams are suddenly unable to access study materials, and the anxiety and uncertainty of the situation itself takes a heavy toll. As education shifts further online, these shutdowns become a form of discrimination that deepens the digital divide. But as the use of internet shutdowns becomes more common, a growing global coalition is fighting back. The response to this digital authoritarianism is multifaceted, involving legal challenges, technological workarounds, and international pressure. At the international level, there is a strong consensus that these shutdowns violate human rights. The UN Human Rights Council has passed resolutions condemning the practice. Legal challenges have been mounted in several countries with some success. India's Supreme Court ruled in 2020 that an indefinite suspension of internet services is illegal. A high court in Zimbabwe declared a 2019 shutdown illegal. However, governments often exploit legal loopholes, citing vague national security laws to justify their actions. Tech companies and internet service providers are caught in the middle, often state-owned or forced to comply with government orders. But there's a growing push for them to do more, to increase transparency by notifying users of disruptions, and to legally challenge shutdown orders. In some cases, tech giants have actively worked to circumvent blackouts. After widespread disruptions in Iran, Google took steps to boost connectivity in the country. This has led to a technological arms race. Citizens and activists are increasingly using circumvention tools to bypass censorship. The most well-known are virtual private networks, or VPNs. A VPN encrypts your internet traffic and routes it through a server in another country, masking your location and allowing you to bypass local blocks. There are also proxy servers and the Tor browser, a free software that enables anonymous communication by directing your traffic through a worldwide, volunteer-run network of relays, making it very difficult to trace. People are also getting creative with low-tech solutions like mesh networks, which allow devices to connect directly to each other using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, creating a local communication network without a central internet connection. And the newest player in this game is satellite internet, from services like Starlink, which can provide a connection from space, bypassing the ground-based infrastructure that governments can so easily control. The long-term consequences of these digital blackouts extend far beyond the immediate disruption, leaving lasting scars on a nation's society. Repeated shutdowns have a chilling effect on free speech and civic participation. Activists, journalists, and ordinary citizens become more cautious, self-censoring their opinions for fear of reprisal. This atmosphere of fear can persist long after connectivity is restored. It can also lead to a creaproting, brain drain, as skilled tech workers and innovative companies relocate to more stable and open environments. The economic damage isn't easily repaired. The loss of investor confidence can take years to rebuild, and the disruption to the digital economy can set a country's development back by a decade, as the World Bank estimated happened in Myanmar after the 2021 coup. Ultimately, the normalization of internet shutdowns poses a grave threat to the future of the internet as a single, global, and open resource. It fuels the fragmentation of the web, creating a dreaded splinternet, a patchwork of national or regional internets, each with its own walls, censorship, and controls. This not only undermines the internet's potential as a tool for global communication and collaboration, but also strengthens the hand of authoritarian regimes around the world. The fight against internet shutdowns is therefore a fight for the very soul of the digital age. It's a fight for access to information, for economic opportunity, for basic human rights, and for the future of our interconnected world. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online.